recording earlier. Okay, so if I do the square root of 200, okay, what I want you to do right now is plug the square root of 200 into your calculator. Okay, one person. Jacoby, what do you have? Okay, Ben, say it. 14.14222135. Okay, and I'm just going to stop right there. All right, so we now know that the square root of 200 is not a perfect square. So I'm going to figure out what perfect squares do fall on either side. So what perfect square is just below it and what perfect square is just above it. So if you're not sure, just start like at 12. 12 times 12 is 144. Can I get closer? 13 times 13 is 169. 14 times 14 is, if you're not sure, plug it in. You get 196. That is pretty close to 200. And we knew that, what was the square root of that? 14. I'm going to write 14 here so I can remember it. Okay. Then the one above it would be 15 to 25. Okay. So now listen, because we're not going to just shoot in the dark for the decimal part. We know for a fact that my whole number is going to be what whole number? 14. It can't be 15 because that's too high, and it's not going to be 13, it's too low. I know for a fact that my whole number is going to be 14. Now, I'm going to show you how you can get really close on that decimal. We know that the decimal is going to fall somewhere between 14 and 15, right? It's going to be like point something, something, something. So to figure this out, this is how you do the decimal part. So this was like step 1, was finding your whole number. Okay, step 2, this is how you find your decimal. So this is the decimal part. Okay, I know that I can't go, I know that 200 is like the one I'm looking for, right? The square root of 200. I want to figure out how far away is 200 from 196. Can I subtract that to figure it out? Sure, what do I get? 4. 200 is 4 away from that bottom square that I'm looking at, 196. The next thing I want to figure out is how far away is my high number from 200. So can I just go 225 minus 200? And what do I get? 25. Oops, nope, that's not right. We have to do the bottom number. Because do we have to find the total spread of our numbers? We have to find the total spread. So what we did was we found out how far away was 200 from 196. How far away is it? 4. We need to figure out the total spread. So can I just go 225 minus 196? Yep. What do you get? 29. Okay, so let me tell you what these are. 4 came from taking the square that we're interested in, the square we want, minus what? Minus the lowest, right? So step 1 is to take the square you want, which is 200, minus the lowest estimate, which is 196. That's your first step. Your second step is to take your highest estimate, 225, subtract your lowest from your highest. So what did you get? 29. This becomes your fraction. Just stack it. What fraction is that? 4 29ths. We're going to put that fraction with my whole number. So the square root of 200 is going to be about 14 and 4 29ths. Right now, I want someone to just go 4 divided by 29 and tell me what you get. 0.13793103. Okay, 138 something something something. So we can just round it to like 1414. Did we get pretty close? Look at what it was when you plugged in the square root. This is what we got from estimating. Pretty close, right? Okay, It's just the same step every time. Let me go through the steps one more time. Step 1, you're going to first find your estimated whole number.
Where do you get it?
Which one?
If you rounded it, it would be 0.138.
Yeah. 14. No, 4 divided by 29 gives you 0.138, right?
0.137.
137? Okay, but what I did, 1379. I put 14 here, Ben, because what was the whole number that I had from step 1? 14. So when I rounded this, the 7 tells the 3 to, yeah. Sabrina, what was your question?
Oh, I was just wondering how you got the other 14, so it was like 14.
Oh, right here?
So, I was
Yeah, so this guy is what I estimated from the 7 to the 4. I thought I heard someone say 1414. But do you see how it's just 14? I just rounded. Is that pretty close to what the actual square root of it is? Okay, so you follow these steps if you're estimating with square roots every time. Now, most of the time in the future, you're probably just going to be using a calculator, usually. But it is important to have some working knowledge on how to get close to the square root of a non-perfect square. So, looking at step 1, finding your whole number. Comfort level on finding your whole number is good, not so good.
I like it. I don't.
Down our steps so we know what we're doing. Step 1 is to find our what? Whole number.
Like your high number.
Okay, so this is how we do step 1. If I asked you to estimate the square root of 700, okay, if you want to, you can find the square root of 700 on your calculator so you know if you're like in the ballpark. Because I want you to stop yourself if you're not even getting close to the whole number. So go ahead and plug it into your calculator, the square root of 700. What do we get?
26.45.
Okay, hold on, one person. Isabel.
26.45751311.
Okay, perfect. We'll just leave that there as reference. Okay, step 1 is to do this to find your estimated whole number. What square is below 700 and what square would be above 700? Okay, so we know, just take 20 times 20. What is it? 400. Are we still a little ways away?
Right.
Focus. You're not getting distracted.
625.
Okay, so what's 25 times 25? 625. That's pretty close. So let's do 625 and say that that was what square root? 25? What's 26 times 26?
676.
Okay, so guess what? Yeah, we can get closer. So what we need to do is erase this. And we just found that 26 will get us closer at 676. Okay, what's 27 squared? Good. Do you see how we now have that 700 between those two? Okay, so we know for a fact that our whole number is going to be 26. I'm going to circle it because I need to remember that that's the number I need to use. Step 2, decimal. Okay, the numerator is going to be how far away is your 700 that you want to know from your lower number? How far away is your 700 that you want to know from your lower number? What is it? Okay, that's your numerator. Your denominator is going to come from how spread out your two estimates were. 729 from 676. What is it? 53. So I'm going to put that fraction with my whole number from step 1, and I'm going to estimate that the square root is going to be 26 with 24 over 53. Somebody in your calculator tell me what is 24 divided by 53. Hang on, start up. 0.4528. Pretty close. We're getting an accuracy almost to the hundredths place, right? As soon as we get to the thousandths place, it gets a little bit,
Has been accurate the first
right,
places.
okay? Okay, now how do you feel about whole numbers? Like finding your whole number, step 1. Okay, let's do it again because I'm thinking that most people are here with decimals still. Let's do it again. Let me find a good one. 123. Step 1, we need to find our whole number. Okay. Okay, so the actual square root, so I know what I'm working to, is going to be 11.090. Okay. Okay, so let's do some squares to get close. We know 10 times 10 is 100. 11 times 11 is 121. That's pretty close. 121 is, its square root is 11. And then I'm just going to go to 12. 12 times 12 is going to be 144. So I know my whole number is going to be what? 11. Good. Step 2, let's take care of the decimal. Your numerator is going to be how far away the one you want, 123 is, from the lower one. So I'm going to go 123 minus 121, 2. Your denominator is going to be how spread out your two estimates are. 144 minus 121 is 23. This is my fraction that's going to go with 11. So it's going to become 11 and 2 23rds. Someone.
0.0869.
Okay, pretty close. Pretty close. If we would have guessed on the decimal, would we have been within 100th off of it? If we would have just guessed? Probably not. We would probably maybe be able to get to the 10th place. Maybe. We might have guessed 11.1 is probably what we would have guessed.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you do this with the step 2 with your decimals, you're going to get closer. Okay. I'm going to try one more. Root of, let's do this one. Square root of 91 and a half.
So 9.
What is it?
9.5655.
Okay, good enough. Right, just to get us in the ballpark. What square is below it with squares above it?
9 times 9 is 80.
9 times 9 gives me 81, so the square root of 81, 9, there's your whole number. 10?
10 times 10 is 100.
100? What's your whole number going to be? 9. Okay, let's do step 2, decimal. Okay, we want to figure out how far 91.5 is from the lower one. 91.5 minus 81 equals 10.5. Denominator is going to be how spread out those two estimates are. 100 minus 81. Okay, so we're going to put this with our whole number. 9 and 10.5 over 19. What is 10.5 divided by 19?
0.55263.
Hang on, 0.55263? Pretty close. Now how do you feel about decimals? The decimal part.
I feel better about decimals than I do about the whole.
Okay, so all you're doing on the whole numbers, Sabrina, is just, you're kind of, pick some whole numbers that will get you close to 90-ish when you multiply them together. So I know that 9 times 9 is 81. That's pretty close to 91, right? So because I'm going to go 9 times 9 is 81, I'm just going to go to the next whole number, which is 10 times 10, which is 100. Do 9 and 10 give you squares that are on either side of your 91.5? That's where you get your whole numbers. Okay, what you can do is when you start your assignment is bring it up and check it with me after you do a couple. Another thing is like what is in the back that you can check to make sure you're doing it correctly
Answers.
for the odd numbers, okay?
Well, most
Question.
of the odd numbers.
Can you